Let's go ahead and begin our art inspired by Aaron Douglas. The project is called Aaron Douglas Skies, and we're going to create a beautiful sky design with a silhouette at the bottom. To get started, let's review some common characteristics of his work. He used art to share experiences and stories, and also used a lot of shapes and lines that overlap and cross over each other. He also used light and dark colors that are similar to each other. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to start out creating an interesting design for the sky using lines and shapes. Because Aaron Douglas used similar colors, I think it would be a great idea for us to review warm and cool colors and choose one of those color schemes to create our sky design. So you could choose warm colors, reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks, or you could choose cool colors, which would be shades of greens, blues, and violet. As I'm drawing, I'm going to overlap my lines and my shapes to create new spaces. I plan to add a different color in each space, so the more spaces I have, the more colors I will have in my beautiful sky design. I'm sticking with one color to do all of my drawing, and then what I'm going to do is color in those spaces with different colors in the color scheme of the warm colors. So here I'm going to overlap a line right across this shape right here so that I have some new spaces because I overlapped those lines. Now I'm going to change it up and maybe use some different kinds of lines, like zigzag lines. Over here, I think I'll do some wiggly lines. And here I'm going to cross over these lines with a straight line to make some new spaces. So the more spaces we have, the more colors we have. All right, I'm going to do, I think, a couple loop-de-loop lines here. Maybe a curved line here. And now I'm going to start adding some shapes. All right, that looks pretty good. I think I'm ready to start coloring in some of those spaces and some of those shapes with my warm colors. So I'd like to show you a coloring trick called coloring in lawnmower lines. So lawnmower lines are lines, colored lines that go in one direction. Okay, so they're going from the top to the bottom or from bottom to the top in one direction. Lawnmower lines are great for really bumping up your craftsmanship in your coloring and making sure every little bit of that space is colored in. Using lawnmower lines or coloring in rows will also help keep the markers from drying out too quickly. If we're coloring back and forth really fast and we go over the same areas back and forth over and over again, we're basically wasting the marker ink. But if you color in lawnmower lines, coloring in one direction carefully and slowly, you know that you're not going back over the same space over and over again. So when you're coloring, give it a try. Try coloring with lawnmower lines in rows. The other thing that I want to talk about is that I will be looking for craftsmanship for this project. So I would like to see that you know how to color in an entire space without using any kind of scribble lines. Sometimes scribble lines are okay, but for this project, I really want to see that you can fill the entire space and really take your time and slow down with your coloring. All right, here is my Aaron Douglas sky design. I've got lots of overlapping shapes and lines and got lots of color, similar colors here on the same color family. As an extra challenge, what I'd like you to try to do is space your colors out a little bit. Make sure you spread them out. So for example, you'll notice that I tried really hard not to have the same colors right next to each other. So if I had a line that goes right down the middle of my shapes, I tried to make each side of the shape or each side of the space a different color. So as an extra challenge, try to see if you can challenge yourself to spread out your colors and try not to have too many of the exact same color right beside each other. So this coloring part is probably going to take at least 2 class periods. If you're really doing it correctly and taking your time and going really slow, filling in the entire space. So I'm going to give everybody 2 class periods to finish the coloring. And then on class 3, we're going to move on to the silhouette.